uncommon and hidden riches of secret places, that thou mayest know that I am the Lord.
Last words, brother.
Shalom, shalom, ma.
All right.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
All right. Shabbat shalom, Israel, and happy new moon.
We got a double Shabbat for you today. Shabbat shalom, Israel. Let's go.
That's right. Got a special blessing for you tonight. And we told y'all in the past that every now and then you're going to see videos like this. So we're going to kind of switch it up a little bit, break up the monotony, and then, go back to our 7-year war mission. But tonight's subject is YAHAWAH is watching, and we're going to be talking about some very interesting facts that goes directly against the heathen's doctrines. So we're going to be exposing them. So you know who we are, Brother Aton, and then Brother Dan Bennett and Yehuda.
That's right.
So, hey, as we like to do, go ahead and give us a 1 if you can hear us in the chat box.
Let's get a 1 if you can hear us in the chat box.
And we pray that you guys are that you all, brothers and sisters, are having a blessed Shabbat. It is only given to Israel.
Amen.
A few seconds there.
All
right, good deal. Yeah. All right, brother. Go ahead, take us away.
All right. Well, today we're going to be breaking down strongholds. All right. We're going to be breaking down strongholds that we got these heathens, what they have done. Essentially, they got us thinking that, we're someplace in the middle of nowhere. Right. We're someplace in the middle of nowhere. And the Most High, he's not watching. Right, Khan, the double Shabbat, Peter Piper. We have a new moon today, and we also have the regular Shabbat. All right. Even though we have a new moon, that does not mean that we can't, we can't do any cooking or anything like that. All right. The main Shabbat, it takes precedent whenever we have a double Shabbat. All right. That means occasionally the new moon will land on sundown on Friday. All right. Let me see. All right, I guess we're going to start with the guy that first came up with this crap, right? Before we get into these scriptures, right? Because before the guy Nicholas Copernicus, right? There's a heathen by the name of Nicholas Copernicus, right? And before this guy came to be, every civilization on Earth believed that the Earth was flat, covered by some kind of molten glass that's described in Job, a dome that covers the earth, right? Every civilization believed this until, the pale heathen decided to, put his 2 cents in.
And
right?
if you notice, like if you do your research and if you look up like old world maps and, of the earth, you'll see that a lot of the nations, they believe the flat earth, and you'll still see like pictures and stuff of them,
God. Let me try to blow this up real quick.
But they spent all these years trying to discount that. Now, you remember when they so-called claimed they went to the moon, which they never did. And if you notice how they tried to set the backdrop, and you could not, like the Earth was behind, you see the little moon and everything, and then you couldn't see no luminaries or anything, And a lot of people were like exposing that stuff and showing that how fake it was and everything. But they can't even admit it, but they know that the whole moon landing was a fake, was a scam. No one can leave the firmament. Period.
That's right. Okay. That was just real interesting what Brother Daniel was saying. I wanted to pull up a picture real quick of that Apollo 11. Actually, if you wanted to look at that, talking about the moon, you can look at those pictures of Apollo 11, and you don't have a blast crater, you don't have any dust on the footies of the machine or any of that. He's literally talking to the president on a rotary phone with with a supposed, big ass rocket strapped to his butt, and it was coming in crystal clear. I mean, like some of this stuff just doesn't make sense. Okay, so let's talk about Nicholas Copernicus here, right? All right, as we see that he was born in February 1473 and he died in May 1543. Now, the reason why I wanted to bring this up, right, is because I wanted you to notice the date that he dies. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. It says 1543. Okay, now as it says here, let me see, active as a mathematician and astronomer, Catholic canon, who formulated a model of the universe that placed the sun rather than the earth at its center. Okay, because everyone knew, right, in the beginning that the Earth was the center, right? Which we, hey, brother Dave, you have that video. You do you mind playing real quick with the, with the stars, so we can see that that's a that coincide.
So what we're going to show you in relation to what the lesson is. So you're going to see. I want you, as you look at the video, look at how the rotation of the luminaries are in a circle. And so, these scientists and these astronomers like to say that the Earth revolves around the sun, the moon, all that kind of stuff. And there's this 365-day rotation all around the sun. All that's a lie. The scripture says that everything rotates around the Earth. So there's gates. There's gates that the moon and the sun goes into. So I just want you to check this out, and brother, I think you can be able to stop it if you need to as well. So
okay, calm. You can just play it real quick.
But just watch how the rotation is. Gonna stop right there right quick. See, this goes totally against the scientific theologies of these heathens, talking about how the sun is constantly revolving around the sun and everything, and rotates. You look how this rotation, it just doesn't even come close. It wouldn't even look like that. If the Earth is literally rotating around the sun and then spinning in a ball, it would not look nothing like this. These are clouds. I'm just going to fast forward a little bit to the luminaries again. Okay, let's try to rotate.
Right.
Stop it.
Right. Now the heathens tell you that we're spinning around 1,037 1/3 miles per hour, right? That's how fast the Earth, so-called spins. Now we see right here, right? It does not look like the Earth is spinning, but instead it looks like the sky is spinning around us. Now I also have another clip that I want to show. Hey, brother Daniel, does that speed all the way up so it can show us a perfect circular? So it shows us to a perfect circle at all during this clip.
Hold on, there's a couple of them. See how it's the motion. Look at all the time-lapse videos, and you'll see how that stuff is just rotating.
I'm gonna pull up a time-lapse video real quick for Israel, right? And see the reason why this is important, right? The reason why I'm bringing this up, a lot of people they what does it have to do with anything? Why is why does it matter if the world is round or flat? Number one, it matters because you need to know the way, and that the Most High made the world. Appreciate His work. If you don't appreciate His work, appreciating some figment of the heathen's imagination, right? So that's off. Number one. Number two, right? I want you to understand that we are not by ourselves, right? We're tucked away some far some far reaches of the galaxy and some small corner, some hidey hole where, the Most High and Hamashiach and all that is so far away that it doesn't even seem plausible. I promise you that is not what's going on, right? The Most High is right above us, very clear. And by the end of this lesson, you'll see that we're literally sitting in the living room, okay? The Most High is watching.
That's right. We're going to show you the scripture when it talks about when the scrolls of heaven is going to roll away like a scroll, and you're going to see. And that's why, like, when that happens, you're going to see it right there. The only reason why we can't see it is because the heavens have rolled away like a scroll. But I wanted to add in when Daytime was saying, why does this matter? Whether the Earth is flat or some people say the Earth is flat. It does matter because the Enoch calendar could not possibly exist with the scientific notion that the Earth is spinning and rotating around the sun. That's why it's so important, because this is what the Enoch is based off of. It is based off the luminaries, also the flat Earth, the way the sun goes into its gates. 12 gates.
12.
All
right, Israel. Can they see that? All right, all right, Israel. This is going to take a second, and they want to get back to old the heathen Nicholas Copernicus. All right, I just want to show you real quick. All right, you see how that's spinning, all right? Even though but you can see right there, I'm gonna pause it. Right, you see the upper right hand corner, right? That's going to be the star Sirius right there, and you see how this is just a total 100%. It just spins around in a circle, right? So if we were spinning 1,037 in a third, in a circle, and then we're spinning all around the sun, however many fantastic miles, and then the so-called Milky Way galaxy, and we're spinning, hundreds of thousands of miles around in that. I mean, like, come on, this is never going to look like this. Year in and year out, since the beginning of time, this is how it looks on the Earth. It's never going to change. Okay, it's never going to change. All right, so let's get back to Mr. Copernicus here. All right, because it's really important, right? I want you guys to focus on when this particular heathen was born. All right, let me get this. All right, this heathen Slovakia. All right, Nicholas Copernicus, right here. Okay, right. Like I said, right. He was born 1473 and he died 1543. Now, right. And he came up with the heliocentric model, where it says the sun is rather at the Earth center rather than the Earth being the center. Right. Now, I wonder, right, how in the world did this guy see this, right? Because in this time, in this time, like there were no avenues of flight, right? There were no avenues of flight. There was nothing that you can do to try to get from here to there, right? There's no avenues of flight. Now remember, as you see, the date is 1543, right? Now, if you go ahead and you read some more about Nicholas Copernicus, you end up finding out that this clown was sticking sticks in the dirt, right? And then measuring the shadows, from from this distance compared to this distance, and that's how he supposedly came up with the theory. Now, it is indeed a theory that the world is supposedly round, right? So now remember, right? You see that right there. It says he died in 1543. So let me go ahead and let's do this. All right, Slovakia. All right, let's go ahead. Stop screen. I wanted to share something else real quick. All right. Because it's important that we understand when these things came about.
Hey, and why you bring that up? Wasn't it Tesla also who believed that the Earth was a flat ocean? I thought I read something about that.
Nikola Tesla, yes.
Right.
Okay. The first hot. Oh, go ahead, Slovakia. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay. Hold on. Let me blow this up so y'all can see it. Blow this up so y'all can see this. All right. It says here that 1783, right? 1783, on September 19th, this was the first hot air balloon flight take place. This is almost damn near this is 200 years past when Nikola Tesla died. I've been wearing Copernicus has died, right? Over 200 years later, they just discovered flight. It's not even airplane, but it is what? It's a balloon, right? You know, say it's a balloon, and then high as they can go, you know. So you got to realize that the studies and the things that Nicolas Copernicus did in the beginning, it was faulty. If this guy can't fly, how would he be able to even remotely discover anything that's happening above the earth? So let's go ahead and get some scriptures. All right, so let's go ahead and go to 2nd Ezra 4:21. All right. Let's see here. All right.
Hey, why he's bringing that out? You know what really convinced me is when I used to jump out of planes. And everything, roughly about 5,000 feet. And even when you look at that, like you can like literally see the dome. You can tell that there's like a dome shape. And when you look at the horizon, you know how some people say, well, the Earth is spinning, and okay, what's on the other side of the Earth and so forth and everything, and that's how the gravity is and everything. That's all a lie. That's all a lie conjured up by the heathens and everything. There is no what they call gravity is not gravity in terms of what the Most High has gravity. All right, they have proven that time after time. Go ahead, bro.
Well, if you see right here, right, you know what I'm saying. The Most High tell you that there's nothing that we can do, right? It says, for like, this is 2nd Ezra chapter 4, verse 21. Right? It says, for like as the ground is given unto the wood, and the sea to his floods, even so they that dwell upon the earth may understand nothing but that which is upon the earth, right? So what is that telling you? That we are not going to understand nothing but that which is upon the earth. Like, the heathens can't tell you how the sun is floating, right? Nobody can tell you how the moon is moving, right? Or how the stars are twinkling at night. Nobody can tell you because we're not, you know, we weren't born to fly, right? It says, go ahead, Doc.
Yeah, I was saying on that note, if you notice how also this is a very profound scripture, you know. So, well, especially when it says that when they said they that dwell upon the earth may understand nothing but that which is upon the earth. And notice how they always say that the sun is a million times bigger than the earth and the moon and stuff. And we're going to show you in the scriptures that the moon and the sun are the exact same diameters. So this is what this means, because now you got these people, and it always changes every like 3 years. The numbers always change and everything. They always come up with something new. Like they know what they're talking about, what's out there and everything. They don't have no idea. They can't even break the firmament.
Absolutely. And it says that he that dwelleth above the heavens may only understand the things that are above the height of the heavens, right? Now, what is the total height of the heavens? That is where we have the glass, supposedly dome, or the molten glass, you know, that we have the protection over, right? Because we have waters above the waters, right? We have waters above the firmament, right? So, but before we go there, you know, Brother Daniel was telling you that that the sun and the moon are the same size, and that directly contradicts anything that the heathen says, right? Because the heathen will tell you that the earth is, the sun is 400 times smaller than the moon, or some old craziness like that, right? Go ahead, Alk, if you want to pull up that scripture.
Yeah, let me pull up the scripture while we're on that note and everything, because I see this. So one is going to be Enoch 7, 1 through 2. So let's pull it right quick.
Right. There's a you can get a gyroscope, right? You can get a gyroscope like a you know, just a regular one, right? Because like every single plane has a gyroscope in it, right? You know, so that's why it's called an airplane, because it flies over a plane, right? You know, and so it doesn't fly over you know, a round surface or anything like that. It flies over a plane, and a plane is flat. Okay, so every single aircraft, it doesn't matter what aircraft it is, it has a it has a analog gyrometer in there, right? And see what and what they do, right? They spin it up on the ground, right? and it has its own individual space, right? It has its own occupied space. And so that way it can always know, no matter if you go left, a gyrometer, you know, like, and no matter what, left, right, it's always going to stay flat. It's always going to know where the center is. You know what I'm saying? That's just like if you got a toy, you know what I'm saying? You spin it around, whatever, you know, so no matter how much you move your hand, it's still going to stay right where it's still going to stay level. Okay. Now, every single aircraft or anything that flies, it has an analog gyrometer, you know what I'm saying? Which means it doesn't use any kind of electronics to adjust it or anything like that. Correct, Sean. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, correct, brother Sean. They fly in a straight line. That's how they do it. You know, there is no Pythagorean theory that you have, 8 inches per square mile, right? Because you got lakes that are lasting for miles. That we have one in Russia. You know what I'm saying? We have a lake that lasted for miles upon miles because it freezes over in the wintertime. And we know that water always finds its level, right? So it doesn't curl. It doesn't curve over or do anything like that. That supposedly goes with the Pythagorean theory of 8 inches per square mile, right? In fact, it's just straight and it's straight all the way through. Slocky, go ahead, Op.
That's right. So we're going to look at 2 verses. So make sure you write these scriptures down. All right, Enoch chapter 72 and verse 47. And it says, and thus goes in and out, neither slacking. Well, you know what? Let me start with verse 46. It says, this also is that which goes forth a great luminary, and which is named after his particular kind, as Elohim commanded. Verse 47, and thus it goes in and out, neither slacking nor resting, but running on in its chariots by day and by night. Its light is 7 times brighter than that of the moon. So let me repeat that again. Its light is 7 times brighter than that of the moon, but the dimensions of both are equal. So just many of y'all, everybody here have seen an eclipse, right? Everybody's seen an eclipse, and when that moon or when that sun, or I said when the moon is finally catching up to the sun, and it's like passing it, it's the same exact size. You can see it with your own eyes. The only reason why it looks maybe like a slightly bigger is because of the glare. It's because of the glare. Because remember, it said that the sun is 7 times brighter. So you're going to have that glare, but you're going to see that it is the same exact size. So how in the world can the sun be 90 million miles away and 900 something times million larger than the Earth, as they say? I mean, larger than the moon. That's impossible. That tells you right there that they don't know. They have no idea what they're talking about. They're making up. That's what you call hypothesis. A hypothesis ain't nothing but a made-up logic by the heathens, created by the heathens.
As a matter of fact, they'll tell you that the heliocentric is a heliocentric theory. The model is a theory, which means it's not a proven fact. Right? Yeah, I mean, they'll even say knowledge.
Yep. So they're both the same, just like the scripture says, but one is 7 times brighter. That's why that's why the Most High says you make 2 great lights. One, a greater light to rule the day, and a lesser light to rule the night.
And just to bring a precept on that, let me bring a precept on that real quick. I'll let you get
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Right.
Now, this is the exact precept for what our brother Daniel was reading, right? If you want to go to Genesis 1, and then we'll start at 14. It says, and God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. Now, notice where he says, let there be lights. He never differentiates whether one is going to be bigger than the other. You know why? Because they're both the same size, the way that Brother Daniel just read it, right? And it says, and let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven, right? To give light upon the earth. And it was so. And God made 2 great lights. He didn't make one small and one bigger. He said he made 2 great lights. The greater light to move the night, which means one is brighter than the other, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. And God set them in the firmament of heaven to give light upon the earth. Right? That was the reason for all of this, right? Like like those heathens will tell you, those stars are suns on other planets, right? Those stars No, that's not what the Bible says. The Bible says God made the stars to shine on the earth. Not no other distant damn planet in the middle of nowhere that you're talking about some, you know what I'm saying, that you're looking at these fake ass telescopes. The only thing them heathens are, I mean, these heathens are so stupid that they're literally staring at the ceiling and they're telling you these things are millions of miles away. That's how that's how outrageous and retarded they are, right?
We're going to show you. We're going to show you in the scriptures what those stars are for. But and you're gonna be blown away when you see what those stars are for and everything. But let me read this right quick. So Enoch 78, and we're going to look at verses 3 and 4. Now watch this. It says, "These are the two great luminaries, whose orbs are as the orbs of heaven, and the dimensions of both are equal, just like we read." And like Brother Aton read in Genesis, you know, a lesser light for the night and a red light for the day. Now watch this, because this right here is going to confirm the greater light. So verse 4 says, "In the orb of the sun are 7 parts of light, which are added to it more than the moon." You hear that? So right there, that confirms that the sun is the greater light that rules the day. It says, "By measure it is put in until the 7th portion of the sun is departed. They enter into the western gate, circuit by the north, and through the eastern gate go forth over the face of heaven." This is powerful stuff, y'all. So you know, these heathens, this is what they hid. This is why the Book of Enoch was hidden for so long. They don't want our people. They don't want our people studying the luminaries and learning the true nature of the Most High and the way it operates, because the law is even based on this luminaries and their rotations. This is how we get the Enoch calendar. You can't get an Enoch calendar off the 365 and off these fake stuff that he came up with. Can't do it.
Can't do it. All right, Israel. Let me I don't know what this seems to slot it. Put this thing on. But they keep trying to put me on the big screen. Let me put this thing up real quick. All right.
Hey, go ahead. Hey, brother, when you I don't know if you got something else, but since you mentioned about how people were asking about the stars and stuff like that, you ready to bring up the one when we're talking about the stars and how it names the stars are the names of the saints?
Oh, come man, yeah. Sure, come man. You can do that too if you want.
All right. So since you mentioned it right quick, so let's go to Enoch 43. Enoch 43, because Brother Aton brought up a good point in how they always talk about the stars, but then something else. Now we're going to show you what the stars are for. All right, we're going to show you right here. So Enoch, go ahead and I hope make sure you're writing these down as well. Let's look at Enoch 43. All right, so I'm going to read both 1 and 2. It says, "I beheld another splendor in the stars of heaven. I observed that he called them all by their respective names, and that they heard. In a righteous balance I saw that he weighed out their light and the amplitude of their places and the day of their appearance." Wow. "And their conversion. Splendor produced splendor, and their conversion was into the number of the angels and of the faithful. Then I inquired of the angel who proceeded with me and explained to me secret things. What their names were, he answered, a similitude of those has YAHAWAH showed you. They are the names of the righteous who dwell upon the earth." You hear that? They are the names of the righteous who dwell upon the earth, who believe in the name of Yahweh forever and ever. There you go.
Come on, bring it out.
You can't deny that, y'all. So these heathens coming up with all this crazy stuff, and let me bring on one more. This is why the Bible says, "Be not dismayed with the signs of heaven," because the heathens are dismayed, because they make up a lot of crazy stuff. You know, I think that's Isaiah 10. Let me go there right quick. I mean, man, this stuff is like it's out there, y'all. It's so much that the Most High has revealed to His people.
Right.
Go ahead, Op. You got something?
Okay. While Brother Daniel's pulling that up, right? I just wanted to make sure let me show you guys something, right? Because a lot of us, a lot of people, they're like, well, the sun, the sun goes down, or this, that, and the third, and they think that just because things, because it looks like, it has the appearance that is, disappearing, right? Now, this is how our vision works, right? If you look here, right, we see this picture of this hallway right here, right? Now we know that at the end of this hallway is the same dimensions as the beginning of the hallway, right? It doesn't change, right? All the dimensions are the same, so whether it's in the end or the beginning, right? The dimensions of the hallway are all the same. However, the way that our vision works, right? It's it's sort of like a tunnel vision, that it's going to appear to get smaller. Now that's the same thing, and if you're looking in the sky, no matter what direction you're looking, you got to realize that this is how your vision works. No matter what direction you're looking at, this is how your vision works. So no matter whatever you're seeing. So let's say, for example, if you're looking at the sun in the sky and it looks like it's getting further and further and further away, right? It's not going down, right? But it's getting further and further away as it's making this rotation. That's all. It's just getting further and further away as it's making this rotation.
That's right.
All right,
That's right. So Jeremiah. So Jeremiah 10:2. So let's look at that right quick. And this is why so many heathens be lining up on the streets and stuff, be watching these eclipses, and then they be like making a big, and even our people be getting caught up in that stuff. This is just part of the process that of the rotations of the luminaries. And that's what they're supposed to do. It says, "Thus says Yahawah, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven." When it says "be not dismayed at the signs of heaven," that's talking about don't be like making it more than what it's supposed to be. They turn this stuff into something that doesn't even have to do with Yahawah. Creating your own theology and all that kind of stuff. For the heathens are dismayed at them. All right. So when you see all these people along the streets, they're just so amazed at the eclipse and everything. Then you got our people coming up with all kinds of foolishness stuff. Oh, an eclipse. It means that the world's going to come to an end next year. They don't know what they're talking about.
all right.
It's crazy.
Now,
but when you look at the physical evidence, everything, you see it. I don't know, like depending on what area you live in, like with California, and especially where New Jerusalem is. That's the property I have there. Where New Jerusalem is at nighttime, and brother, you can testify to this. You remember we were at the camp out there, that camp we had when we did the feast, one of our feast years we did for the Feast of Tabernacle.
Absolutely.
Tell them how clear the sky was out there. Like you were even amazed, man, when we were driving at nighttime, man. You couldn't even, like, man. I was like, dude, you better put your head back in that window, man. But you was like a kid in a candy store, man, because it's like when you're out in like a dry environment and at night and it's cooler, man. You see, you can just see the works of the Most High's hand.
That's right. Hey, you don't even understand, like the everything seemed closer, right?
Mm-hmm.
If this stuff is millions of miles away, like they say, right? Just because I arrived in Cali and I'm chilling, that shouldn't, just a couple of just a couple of sea levels up, far as like depth in the sky, that shouldn't make that much of a difference if these things are millions and gazillions light years away, like they say, right? I shouldn't get up and all of a sudden the sky looks closer. You know what I'm saying? These lights that are gazillions of miles away, all of a sudden they look closer. No, that doesn't make any sense, right? Think about that for a second. Just a little bit of, just a little bit of level for me going from one state to the next. All of a sudden the stars look closer. That doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that ought to let you know just off the basic observation skills that everyone is born with. You can see that the earth, that the sky is a lot closer than what they tell you it is. I mean, like just basic observation, you could be able to tell that the sky is closer than what it is. Mm-hmm. Right. All right. So I wanted to read the scripture. Hey, you wanted to you have anything you want to bring up?
Go ahead, brother. I got something. I'll wait. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, Con. Right. So we're gonna go to we're gonna deal with Joshua real quick, right? Because I want to show you something. Like these are things that are virtually impossible if if they say that the earth is round and that the sun is, you know what I'm saying, that we're revolving around the sun, right? We're going to show you scriptures that are basically impossible. And I'm sure that some of you have read before, but it doesn't hurt for us to go over this again, right? All right, so we're going to start in verse 12 right here, right? All right, this is all right. It says, then spake Joshua to the Lord, right, in the day that the Lord delivered up the Amorites before the children of Israel. Now, this day they were fighting the Amorites, right? They were in the battle with the Amorites. Right? Joshua and the Israelites, right? We were in battle with the we were in battle with the doggone Amorites, right? And he said in the sight of Israel, son, right? Son, stand thou still upon Gibeon, and thou moon in the valley of Ajalon. Now that's a heck of a scripture right there. Like, ask yourself, how is it possible that the sun is standing still and the moon is also standing still, right? And the sun stood still and the moon stayed. But I thought that we were traveling around the sun, right? So wouldn't the earth have to stand still if that was the case, right? Wouldn't he say earth stand still? But the Most High said, and the sun stood still and the moon stayed until the people avenged themselves upon their enemies. In other words, right, Joshua prayed and he was like, Lord, I don't want these heathens to escape in the middle of the night where I can't see them, right? Please keep the sun up long enough for me to kill all of them. I want to be able to see around every bush, every tree, every nook and cranny to kill, jig, and stab every single one of those heathens up. Please, Lord, let the sun stay up so I can get this work done. And the Lord let it happen. It says, and there was no day like that before it or after that the Lord hearkened unto the voice of man, for the Lord fought for Israel. It's simple, man. With stuff like that, you can't say that the earth is, that the earth, that the sun removes around the earth. That's Slakia. You can't say that the earth removes around the sun, right? Because that doesn't happen. That's Slakia.
And also to break that notion, how the heathens always think that the earth is spinning. So that verse you just read. So if the sun stood still for a few minutes, that means that the scientists who believe, or everybody who believes that the earth is spinning, then how would that be possible if the earth is spinning then? That means the sun would have still been moving in a sense. You know what I'm saying? So when you think about their theories and how they say how things are and how things operate in the Luminaries, it's totally against what the scripture says. Also in evidence, all you got to do is anybody who's done astronomy. I'm big, and I used to be big in astronomy, but now that I know better, looking into the Luminaries and just studying them. Now, even Abraham, it's in the book of Joshua, I believe, was almost a mastery of Luminaries. That's before they had any written scriptures. That's how they kept the laws. That's how they kept it. That's why them boys are on one accord at one time, because they had the Luminaries to go by.
God. You got anything you want to bring out before I bring out this one?
Oh yeah. I wanted to bring out where it talked about, we was talking about earlier about the heavens and everything. So I wanted to share this right here, where it talks about Revelation chapter 6, and it's verse 14. It says, "And the heavens departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their place." And check this out, because this is how you know that the Most High is just right above us. It says, "And the kings of the earth, and the great man, and the rich man, and the chief captains, and the mighty man, and every bondman, and every free man hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains." Now check this out, because how would they know who they're looking at? It says, and said to the mountains and rocks, "Fall on us and hide us from the face of him." You hear that? Hide us from the face of him that sits on the throne. So in other words, when these scrolls roll back, like Brother Eitan was saying earlier, this is when you're gonna see the throne of the Most High, of YAHAWAH, and it's gonna scare the living hell out of people. Let me read that again. It says, and said to the mountains, rock on us and hide us from the face. Why would he even need to mention face on here? Because what does that tell you? That tells you that the earth is the footstool of the Most High. And when that scroll roll away, the reason why we can't see it because it's like we're in a place where we can't see it. We can't see outside the firmament like truly. We can see the luminaries and everything, but when it comes to the throne of the Most High, he's there, but you're not gonna be able to see it until he rolls that scroll away. And I know that's mind blowing for a lot of people, even for me, even to this day, it's like mind blowing.
That's right, man. Just to add to that, right? You know what I'm saying? Just so we, just because you brought it in, I want to bring out something else, right? This is Ezekiel 10:1. It says, "Then I looked, and behold, in the firmament that was above the head of the cherubims, right? In the firmament, which is the what? The molten. Hey, you can look up Job, where it says the molten glass. I think. Let me see. Molten glass. Job 37:18.
Okay.
Job 37:18. Real quick. I want to have that ready for me. It says Ezekiel 10:1, right? It says, "Then I looked, and behold, in the firmament there was above the head of the cherubims, there appeared over them as it were a sapphire stone, the appearance of the likeness of a throne," right? That's above the firmament. Go ahead, bring that out real quick.
Okay. Job 37:18, it says, Hast thou with him spread out the sky, which is strong, as a molten looking glass. So, it's interesting when you think, because when you look at, it's like the domes, it's like the dome almost serves as a magnifying glass. Think about that. Like when we were out there for the Feast of Tabernacles, brother, on the camp and everything, when you looked into the sky, it looked like everything was magnified. Like when there's no like surrounding lights nearby and everything, and you out in an area where the climate is dry and it's dark, the colder it is, the better it is, because the cold gets rid of all of the humidity and all that kind of stuff. So the sky is going to be much clearer. But didn't it look like, man, we were looking through a magnifying glass? Like everything was like magnified, man. You saw it like you didn't really need no binoculars unless you was just trying to search for something new. But with the naked eye, man, it looked like everything was just like we were looking through a big dome magnifying glass.
Absolutely.
Crazy.
All right.
So I want to.
What happened? What you about to say?
No, I was just saying that verse. That's what that verse reminds me of. Like looking through a magnifying glass brings it out.
Right. So, I want to bring this out real quick, and then I want to take a different direction. We're going to be talking about the flood a little bit, right? But first, this is another one of those brain busters. This is like, man, you got to believe in the Bible. Like, if you don't believe the Earth is flat, or you don't believe that, that the sun revolves around the Earth, you don't believe in the Bible. I mean, you really don't. We have plenty of scriptures. Matter of fact, I got a scripture that shows you, straight off the top, that it says that the sun rolls around in a circuit above the Earth. But here, right? Let's go here. It says, Hezekiah was sick, right? This was a king, right? King Hezekiah was sick, and he was talking to Isaiah, who is the son of Amos, right? Isaiah is the son of Amos, just in case you didn't know, right? And what he did, he was talking to Hezekiah, and Hezekiah was sick, and then Hezekiah wanted to know. Hezekiah had asked him, "Hey, you think your God can heal me?" Right? And then he was like, "Well, how will I know that your Lord had answered? Saying is going to do, what you said, right? How will I know? Will this be positive?" So, right, it says, and Hezekiah said unto Isaiah, "What shall be the sign that the Lord will heal me, and that I shall go up into the house of the Lord the third day?" And Isaiah said, "The sign that thou shalt have of the Lord, that the Lord will do the thing that he has spoken. Shall the shadow go forward 10 degrees?" Right? Now, if the shadow go, right, Now that's easy, right? If the shadow were to go forward 10 degrees, that means that's really nothing. That's like, the Lord speed up the sun a little bit. So just let him speed it up a little bit. You know what I mean? So it can go forward 10 degrees, right? Or go back 10 degrees. Now, go backwards 10 degrees. This is such a big thing, is because in order to bring this, because remember now, we had sundials in those days. There was sundials and things of that nature, right? To tell the time. Now, in order to bring it back around, right, you would have to make the sun go in the opposite direction that it normally goes. It'll have to reverse directions in a circuit for the shadow to go back 10 degrees. Okay. Now, this is a great thing. And it says, and Hezekiah answered, it is a light thing for the shadow to go down 10 degrees. Means that, it's easy for the Most High to speed up the sun a little bit. Just let them, speed it up and go there. However, to bring it backwards, nay, but let the shadow return backwards 10 degrees. And Isaiah the prophet cried unto the Lord, and he brought the shadow 10 degrees backwards by what they had gone down in the dial of Ahaz. Right? Do you understand, right? So according to the heathens, if that were to happen, we'll have to reverse the rotation of the earth and spin you back around the sun.
Yep.
Are you kidding me right now? That'll kill every damn body. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't even make sense. Something like that. Right? That doesn't even make sense. So this is why,
that's a serious stronghold cut, because their logic, again, it goes totally against what the scripture says. And here's the evidence. The evidence is in the heavens. Look, like I said, if you're in an area where you can see the luminaries and everything, you can see the lies, man, of our enemies. You just see it. And that's why people, like, especially these Hotep brothers that, always mock the Most High and everything, if they only understood the truly nature in the book of the luminaries, then they would understand how how it operates and his laws, because that's what the laws are based upon. I mean, man, you can't get around it. There's no way. Like brother said, if you don't believe in the flat earth, you don't believe in the scriptures. It's impossible.
All right, let me see here.
And you can't believe one thing and then leave the other out. So it's all gonna have to go together. And I get it. A lot of the translations have been stuff's been lost in translation. But again, I'm gonna tell you that the key breaker is the luminaries. One thing they can never change is the luminaries. No translated, nothing. When you look up and you see how it lines up with the scriptures, bam. And that's exactly how we got account. Even on the property, I have a sundown where the equinox at a certain time happens when there's an equal amount of light and equal amount of day around March time. It hits that same object every year, never fails.
All right, Con. This is a little scripture right here I'm gonna bring out real quick. Before we deal with the flood, I just wanted to, because I got like so many scriptures in my head. If we go over all of it, it'll probably take all night. So we're not going to give you every single scripture. There's like hundreds of scriptures really to really discover. But we're going to give you a few. So just to last you, right? It says, "O Lord, who bears rule, thou speakest at the beginning when thou didst plant the earth." Right? The Lord planted the earth in what? In water, because he says what? The firmament. Right, there's waters, and then he split the waters above the waters, and he had the earth in the middle. And that thyself alone, and commandest the people, and gave us a body unto Adam without a soul. Right, so the Lord built Adam's body; it didn't have a soul in it; it wasn't even working. He just built the husk, right? The husk, which was the workmanship of the hands, and didst breathe into him the breath of life, and he was made living before thee. Now, this doesn't really have anything to do with the earth and its shape, but I thought this was interesting, right? Because a lot of people think that the Garden of Eden is on the earth, but however, it is not.
It's not.
And thou leadest him into paradise, which thy right hand had planted before ever the earth came forward. Right? Before ever the earth came forward. Right? So people that think, go ahead out. You bring out the other scripture. What's that precept? Enoch something.
Enoch 31.
Enoch 31. That's it. Yeah, right? So I'm gonna let you bring it. I'm gonna let you bring that precept out because see, a lot of people they don't understand where the prophet said, you know, where Elijah is, where Enoch is, right? We're the ones that don't die because they think that, you know, they're somewhere on the no, you know what I'm saying? The Most High, he got a place for everyone. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Go ahead, Doc.
All right, so let's look at Enoch chapter 31. If you have your Apocrypha, it's going to probably be either 30 or 32. But I'm reading from the Sefer. So, verse 2, it says, "From there I passed on above the summit of the mountains to some distance eastward and went over to Ephraim and Ephraim Sea, and I was advanced far beyond it. I passed along above the Zetel and arrived at the garden of righteousness." The garden of righteousness. So we're talking about one garden.
Well, now, if y'all don't think that this is the Garden of Eden, Brother Daniel, he's gonna keep on reading. You know what I mean? It'll become super clear that it is.
Yeah. "In this garden I beheld among the trees some which were numerous and large, and which flourished there." Verse 3. "And their fragrance was agreeably powerful, real powerful." And that's some powerful stuff. "And their appearance both varied and elegant. The tree of knowledge also was there." The tree of knowledge also was there, "of which if anyone eats, he becomes endowed with great wisdom." Verse 4.
Right. So what does that tell you, right? Where is the tree of knowledge? If you want to go back to Genesis, right? We know that the tree of knowledge is in where, right? The tree of knowledge is in what? Is in the middle of the Garden of Eden, which is in which is in the Old Testament, right? Go ahead, Op.
All right, verse 4. It was like a species of a tamarind tree, bearing fruit which resembled grapes extremely fine, and its fragrance extended to a considerable distance. I exclaimed, how beautiful this tree is, and how delightful is its appearance. Then holy Raphael, an angel who was with me, answered and said, "This is the tree of knowledge of which your ancient father and your aged mother ate, who were before you, and who, obtaining knowledge, their eyes being open, and knowing themselves to be naked, were expelled from the garden."
All right. I'm gonna bring out one more precept just because we're on that.
That's powerful.
God, that's
right there is how you know where they at. Well, you know, you don't know where they at, but I'm just saying that, you know, no one knows because it's not on this earth, somewhere in another dimension. And there's a lot of, when you really read the book, and that's why I don't, you know, for people who are not really seasoned, you know, you might want to like really search this, you know, the other 66 books before you start getting into Enoch and everything, because especially if you're not don't have no understanding about the laws and the luminaries, you know, you can be a little lost and everything. But this is a beautiful thing. This is a beautiful thing. And later, if we get time, I do want to show you all like the different angels, the 7 angels. Each angel had a purpose and responsibility. And I'm gonna get that to you here later on if we get time and everything.
Okay, Khan, just to bring out a precept what Brother Daniel was reading, right? Now I'm going to show you that the Garden of Eden is not on the earth. Let's start. Let's see. All right, this is the Book of Jubilees, chapter 3, right? If you want to read chapter 3, it has a whole bunch of good stuff in it. So, but we're going to start at, I say, we'll start at verse 5. And it says, "And the Lord our God caused a deep sleep to fall upon him being Adam. And he slept. And he took for the woman one rib from amongst his ribs. And his rib was the origin of the woman from amongst his ribs. And he built up the flesh in its stead, and built the woman. And he awakened Adam out of his sleep, and on walking those, oh, okay. I'm about to say, man, what happened to Brother Daniel? All right. Salaki Israel. Okay, Brother Daniel's coming back on. Yeah, let's see. Must have fell off by accident. All right. Here we go. It says, and built the woman, and he awaked Adam from out of his sleep. And on awaking, he rose the sixth day, and he brought her to him. And he knew her, and said unto her, this is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called my wife, because she was taken from her husband. Therefore shall no man and wife be one. Therefore shall man and wife be one, and therefore and therefore shall a man leave his father and mother, and cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. Right? Now he knew her in the beginning. So those folks that didn't mean that they had babies in the beginning. He just, that's what solidifies a marriage, just as we know, as we've been going through the lessons, dealing with the sisters, right? It says, therefore shall man and wife be one, and therefore shall man leave his father and his mother and cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. In the first week, right, was Adam created, and the rib his wife. In the second week, he showed her unto him, and for this reason the commandment was given to keep in their defilement for a male 7 days, and for a female twice 7 days. And after Adam had completed 40 days in the land where he had been created, right, we brought him into the Garden of Eden to till and keep it. But his wife they brought in on the 8th day. And after this, she entered into the Garden of Eden. Understand that? See, right? The Garden of Eden is something totally different, right? This is a totally different place than what the Most High has for the earth, right? It's a totally different place. So if we read on down, right, and then we'll see how they got kicked out of heaven. Let me see. I'm in Salakia, kicked out of the Garden of Eden. You know what I'm saying? And then the Lord sealed it up with swords, so you couldn't get back in there, or you couldn't even find the way. It's probably some kind of
fire.
You know what I'm saying? It's probably some kind of so what do you call that? Not wormholes, but like some kind of probably dimensional portal, some more crazy stuff that you can get in there, right? But we got angels that are guarding it with swords, so you can't even get there. You know what I'm saying? It's probably why you can't go and try to like, man, you can't go to Antarctica, right? No one can go to Antarctica. Every single trip, every single flight or anything that you got that's in Antarctica is military. It's military base. It all leads back to the military.
Yep.
Every single trip, every single plane, even when you go over there to fly to Antarctica for a trip, all the planes have blacked out windows. I wonder why that is, right? They got blacked out windows. So when you go over there and they watch you, you just can't go exploring by yourself. Not only that, right? But they have a treaty that's never been broken by all the nations on the earth. I wonder why that is. All right. So, if you had anything before we talk about the logic of the flood?
No, go ahead, brother, because I do want to give the characteristics and the purposes of the angels, but let's bring that one out first.
No folly. If you can, if you don't got a scripture for that, please, no folly.
No.
All right. Let's start in the beginning. Let's talk about the flood. Matter of fact, let's talk about the flood, because remember, matter of fact, we'll go to before I go there, let's go to Psalms 148 first. All right. We go to Psalms 148. Oops, it's lucky.
Why is bringing that out too? I want to bring up about the fact about the Antarctica and everything. If you notice how every, like, Russia, China, U.S. is over there, they know something, and they're not going to tell. They're not going to tell the public what it is. But I guarantee you, these elites, they know that we are connected to the Most High, that's chosen people, and they know some stuff, y'all, and a lot of secrecy that are being kept from the public and everything. But as the years go by and as time go by, there's stuff that little by little that YAHAWAH is going to reveal that's going to be mind blowers. And this is why we should really be studying the scriptures. But also, it's a good thing too to study the luminaries, because that's where, like, the original power is, and the understanding of the ways of the Most High. Go ahead, brother.
Gone. All right. Well, verse right here, 148, right? Verse 148. It says, praise him, ye heaven of heavens, and ye waters that be above the heavens. Right? So even if you were, even if you did believe in the heathen model, right, or whatever, then you have to ask yourself, if the heavens is in the sky, and we know the heavens is it'll talk about space or whatever, if you believe in that kind of stuff, where's the water at? It says that ye waters that be above the heavens. Okay. Now we're going to talk about the flood. Oh, you know what? Give me 1 second. All right. Sloppy Israel.
No, okay.
I'll be right back.
Yeah. Hey, I want to talk about that video, man. I wish he had that one video. There was a video that he had, that Brother Eitan had. It was a missile, like it was being shot up in the sky, and it couldn't, like, when it got up, it hit something and it was like spinning. Man, I wish I could find that video. But look for it if you can. It's type in YouTube missile stops in the firmament. I think that's what it's called. Missile stops in the firmament. And check that video out, because when you can see the missile going up, and all of a sudden it just stops in midair, and then it's spinning. It's just like spinning, like it's spinning against something. You know how like when you pop a bottle rocket off or something like that, and it hits against the wall and it's just spinning, you can't go nowhere else. That's exactly what happened with this missile. And that right there tells you that the firmament, that no one can escape the firmament. And it's like I don't know, it's like a solid force that the Most High has to keep these heathens from going out, because the Bible says in Jeremiah 30:35, it says, so as the moon and the sun and stars still stand, so shall the seed of Israel remain. So that means that these heathens have been trying to blow up the firmament. Have you guys ever heard of, what's his name? He was a admiral in the Navy. Admiral Byrd. Have you ever heard of Admiral Byrd? Well, Admiral Byrd was like one of the youngest Navy admirals to get promoted in that position. But it was called Operation Fishbowl. Now, Operation Fishbowl, you can look that up too. You're not going to see a lot of stuff on it. But Operation Fishbowl was when they were trying to blow up the firmament. You can see how like the nukes were hitting the firmament and it wasn't going nowhere. It was Operation Fishbowl, right? Yeah, it was Operation Fishbowl. And I saw that blew my mind, because it was like, look at these folks, man. They're trying to break through the firmament. They really think, man, that they're gonna be able to destroy the Most High. They think that they're gonna be able to destroy His people, but they're not. Not gonna come close.
All right.
Yeah, I'll be right back, brother.
Khan, do you think? All right, Israel. We got it says this is, praise Him, ye heavens of heavens, right? And ye waters that be above the heavens. Now, right, this is something that we got to remember, right? It says waters that are above the heavens. So just like I was saying earlier, right, we're covered with a firmament, a dome, a molten glass, as Brother read in Job, right? A molten glass covers the earth, right? So if you believe that, let's just logically think about the flood for a moment, right? So we have all the waters on the earth right now, right? No matter how much it rains or whatever, you're never going to be able to flood to the top of Mount Ararat or Mount Sinai or Mount Kilimanjaro. You're never going to flood that high. You're never going to be able to have that much water on the earth that's going to flood, no matter how much it rains, because guess what? We still have the bodies of water that collects all the water, right? That's going to be deep. The you know what? Let me go get a glass of water, right? I'm gonna get a glass of water real quick. Salakia, Israel, right? Right. So, all right, Israel. So if I have this amount of water in the earth, this is all the water that I have in the earth. No matter how much it rains, this is the amount that it's going to get to, no matter what. This is how much water that I have in the earth, right? What will it take for me to make this cup overflow? I'll have to get extra water that is not on the earth, to make this cup overflow right here, okay? So in order to do that, where do I have to get the water from, right? Where do I have to get the water from, right? Let's go to Genesis 7 and 11, I believe. Okay, right? So it says, in the 600th year of Noah's life, in the 2nd month, the 17th day of the month, the same day were all the fountains of the great deep broken up. Right? So apparently we have fountains underneath the earth of the great deep, right? Deeper than anything that we've seen so far in the sea or any of that stuff. They were broken up, and the windows of heaven were opened, right? And it says, and the windows of heaven were opened. So that is the only way, right, for you to add water to an already body that has water for it to overflow. Because no matter how much it rained on the land, even if it trickled down, it would have find ways to find down and seep down into the dirt, back to the rivers, back to the lakes. You know, it doesn't matter. There's no way that you can flood to the mount, to the top of Mount Sinai, Mount Ariyat, or any of that, right? Unless you added extra water. Where are the waters coming from? It says God, He opened up, the Most High opened up the windows of heaven, right? And the windows of heaven are what? The windows that are in the firmament. And He let the water that I just read in Psalms, right? The waters on top of the waters, right? There were waters above the heavens. So we're literally underneath water. That's what we are. We're literally underneath water. And when you really think about it, right? The power of the Most High is so great that it says 10,000. His eyes are like 10,000 suns. I mean, like, what's the greatest insulator on the earth is water, right? So if we were buried deep in the water, that would make sense for us to shield us against the power of the Most High. You got anything to say out before I continue?
Yeah, you probably talked about it. You probably covered it already. What's gone? Hey, so the water was above and beneath as well too. Because remember, in the garden, it said, well, when the Most High created, when I talked about the watering, there was no rain because the water came from under the earth and it was like a mist and watered everything. So there was no need of rain. So I mean, the perfect system that the Most High had was perfect, and we still even unto this day, like, I think the furthest that man, I think I was looking up, the furthest that man ever drilled was like 3 miles, something like that, almost 4 miles, something like that. Furthest
7,
like
almost 7 miles.
Yeah, the Most High has caverns underground where it's been untouched, where like streams of water just flowing through. I pray. I can't wait to see the destruction of these heathens. Because it's like it just won't stop until they're destroyed.
Right. You know what? Just to show something else, right? Before I go to the Matthew 4, right? Just to show something else. Let's go to I think it was Esdras. Second Esdras 6. All right. It says, and He said unto me, in the beginning, when the earth was made, before the borders of the world stood, and ever the winds blew, right? It says before the borders of the world stood. If the earth was round, right? If the earth was a circle, do you have borders? Where's the borders on a circle? Where's the borders on a sphere? That doesn't make sense, right? So just like I was saying earlier, right? Now, the heathens will have you believe there's a such thing as gravity, right? There's a such thing called gravity, right? Where, you have some kind of mysterious force pulling you down to the ground, which is a freaking lie, a lie from the pit of hell. The only thing there is there's buoyancy and there's density, right? Whatever is lighter than air floats, and whatever is heavier than air sinks. That's just, the book's the same like it's in water, except for, what tricks our brain a lot is that we're in a, we can't see the second layer of water, pretty much, like the air, like you can feel it, you can fan yourself right now, and then, you can feel the wind on you. That's because we're in an invisible, lighter body of water that we're just breathing in, and all the atoms from the very top of the dome, from the top of the firmament to now are being packed upon us, right? It's all packed upon us.
You brought a good point, like that heathen Newton. Dumbass somebody talking about that they invented gravity, discovered gravity. There's no such thing. But to get that notion, the scientific vision, what Brother Aiton was saying about gravity, about bone density and weight and everything, the heavier you are to fall, quicker you fall. If you take a rock and a feather, which one's going to fall quicker, the rock or the feather? It has nothing to do with gravity because the rock is heavier, it's more denser, so of course it's going to fall quicker than the feather. The feather's going to probably float down, because that's why when you look at birds, when you look at birds and the way the Most High designed them and everything, and their feathers, they can glide off the wind and use that as their propulsion force and everything. Whereas heavier birds, are going to be much bigger and have much bigger wingspan and everything. That is logic to look at.
Let's say, right, just using common sense, right, just using a little bit of logic, right. If gravity, right, can hold, so if they say that gravity is the reason why I am on the ground, right? Gravity is the reason our brother Daniel was on the ground. How is it possible if it's so strong that it can make me stick to the ground? Mm-hmm. How can a bee fly? How can a fly go? Like, how can a fly not get sucked down to the ground? Yep. You see what I'm saying? Like, if they're saying that it's the size of the earth, that its gravitational pull is so strong that it's keeping you on the ground. So that means that every single creature here should have the exact same gravitational force put upon them, right? Whether it be me or a fly. It doesn't matter the size of the particular object, because what's creating the, according to the heathens' logic, what's creating the gravitational force is the size of the planet, where they say that this is a planet, right? It's the size of the planet that's creating the gravitational force. So that should not take precedent over, just because that's a single entity, right? And that shouldn't take any precedent on whether it's, on how much I weigh or something else out here weighs. So if it's the same force, because they say they were spinning 1,037 and a third, miles per hour. So gravity is holding me down to the earth because we're spinning so fast, right? Job 34. Yeah, Kendrick, that's a good verse too. We're going to bring that out a little later.
Let me give you an example. Let's look at a bumblebee. Now, you look at the size of a bumblebee. A bumblebee's body is like 5 times bigger than its wings. Now, and that's when you think about, as they say, gravity. How in the world that a bumblebee can stay up like that without being dragged to the ground, especially if its body is 5 times bigger than its wings? You see how fast they move and everything. I remember I was, I like being out in nature a lot. And there was a bumblebee that came up to me, and he was like just checking me out and everything. I just stood still, and it would zip one way, zip the other way, zip back there, and then zip back again and everything. Yeah. And I was just amazed how fast. I was amazed how fast that bumblebee was moving and everything. Like with the slightest, like no effort. He just made it seem so effortless. Like, and I was looking at his wings. I'm like, man, look at his body. It's so huge and everything. So if they talked about gravity existed, then how in the world can a bumblebee fly without being pulled down from his big body mass size? You know what I'm
saying? Hey, you know what? There's, what is that? It's the behemoth. Is that the other one? Is that the other? Hey, look behemoth up for me real quick, because it says that it flies on the invisible ocean or the visible desert or something like that. It's just, it's pretty much talking about how it flies on a visible, like a situation, which we know is the air, right? If you look at a bee and the way that it shoots and it moves around, it's the exact same situation. If I were to put a minnow and a shark next to each other, right? They can fly on the same situation because they're treading the atmosphere that's around them. That's the only thing that's creating the movement, right? Friction force against the atmosphere that's around you. That's what's letting them float. You know what I mean? It's the same thing for a bee. A bee can fly and not get sucked down to the ground is because it's light, right? It has light, and it's used its wings to do what? Flap itself around in the invisible atmosphere, right? Just because we can't see it doesn't mean they're there, but we can feel it all day. You know what I mean? We can feel it all day.
Enoch 59. Yeah. Right quick.
Okay.
59 and then 7 through 1. I'll read that. Bring it up a little bit.
Got
the one you're looking for?
Yeah, Khan, on the invisible wilderness. Right. The invisible wilderness. Go ahead. I'll just read it. All
right. Yeah, I'll start reading. So this is Enoch 59, verses 7 through 9. All right. It says, in that day shall be distributed two monsters, a female monster whose name is Leviathan, dwelling in the depths of the sea, above the springs of water, and a male monster whose name is Behemoth, which possesses on his breast the invisible wilderness.
Right. Now, on his breast, that means he's flying, right? He possesses on his breast the invisible wilderness. The invisible wilderness is the air that we breathe right now, right? You could, you know what I'm saying? It's there, but you can't see it. And see, that's a lot. What messes a lot of people up is just because they can't see it, they forget, they forget to add the properties of reality to it, or I should say, they fail to use common sense, right? There's no such thing as gravity. It's only buoyancy and density. If it's lighter than air, it floats, right? If it's heavier than air, it sinks, unless it's manipulating the atmosphere. For example, if I'm in the water, right? How do I make something move in the water, right? I make a propeller, right? So it can propel myself through that atmosphere, which is the water, right? Now, how do I make myself fly, like a similarly, right? You know what I'm saying? In the beginning, what they do, they have prop planes, propeller planes to do what? It's not going to churn as fast as the ones that churn in the ocean because the atmosphere out here is lighter. So you're going to need a faster propeller, right? To churn the atmosphere for you to travel through it, right? It's the exact same thing, whether it is in the water or is in the air. Just in the air, you just need faster propellers or faster boosters to make you go through this particular atmosphere because it's lighter in density, right? The water is heavier in density. The air is lighter than density. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's lighter in density. Okay.
I want to address this. Right. I want to address this right quick. So so it says they say that the rotation is causing the gravity. Yeah, of course you hear that. You hear that a lot. Let me tell you why they think that. So the reason why they think that is because, like, if you get, let's say you get a bucket of water, right? You get a bucket of water and then you twirl it upside down and you keep twirling around. The water's not going to go anywhere. That has nothing to do with gravity. What that does is with force and pressure and everything. So let's say, okay, you have the earth, you have the atmosphere. So let's say they say that the earth is spinning, that's what's keeping us down. Well, if that was the case, if the earth is spinning and that's keeping the gravity down, then it wouldn't make sense even for the earth to really be spinning there, because when you think about how the earth is and everything, it's not spinning. So it's like if the earth was spinning, so forth, like they say it is, that it would throw everything out of alignment. It's like, okay, take a big spiral ball, and let's say you put some objects on it, stuff like that. And you have a machine that just spin it and it starts spinning at so many thousand miles per hour and everything. That stuff will be destroyed.
It's place. Right. It's so crazy because the way they try to, say that contradicts centrifugal force. Yeah. Right. If they're telling you that the rotation is causing the gravity, right? You know what I'm saying? Then that's opposite of centrifugal force, right? I mean, like, Sean, you're right, man. Man, it's so funny the way they try to tell you this absolute, buffoonery to have you thinking, it's one thing when it's, when it's not. Not only that, right? But even if you were to do that, let's say, for example, where is gravity at, on a round ball? I mean, like, which is right side up? Is all the water supposed to be underneath the earth? I mean, like, what's going on? It don't make any sense, right? And then at one time when you see, and they tell you the experiments and how they do, there's never been one scientific experiment to show that gravity works, period. You know what I'm saying? They just give you, just because the mass is bigger, right? It's supposed to draw in. Now, the theory of gravity is that the bigger the mass is of the object, that it's supposed to be able to draw in another object just by the sheer force of the mass, right? And that's what they say that keeps the moon, the supposedly rotating around the earth. They have never been able to prove any of this crap. They have never been able to prove that the earth is moving, period. Every single scientific experiment is always proved that the earth stood still, right? Just like the scriptures say, right? Matthew chapter 4, right? I'm going to bring this up. Matthew chapter 4, verse 8. It says, and the devil taketh him up into an exceeding high mountain, and showeth him all the kingdoms of the world and the glory of men. Right? It says that the devil, right? He took up how many? This is Satan here. This is actually Satan, not a particular, not just any deceiver, but it's calling Satan a deceiver here, right? Satan, so he took the Most High up an exceedingly high mountain. Now, this is, we'll talk about this at length later on. But me personally, I believe that he was in the form of a dragon during that time. I think that the demons and a lot of these things look like that. I think they're dragons, because if you read the scriptures, it literally describes, it literally talks about dracons, like when you look up the Hebrew word, and then when you also look up the Greek word, it literally says Draco when it's talking about like real live, dragons and whatnot. But so we can always, that's up for discussion at any time. We can build on that. But it says that the devil's taking him up into an exceedingly high mountain now, right? And showing him all the kingdoms of the world and the glory of men. Now, my question is, right, how in the world is Hamashiach is going to see all of the earth if it's round, just because he took him up to a high mountain? How are you going to see the bottom of the earth if it's round, right? That doesn't make any damn sense. You see what I'm saying? The reason why Satan had took Hamashiach up to a high mountain is because if the earth is a plane and it's flat, right, you would need to go up on a high mountain to see every damn thing. That makes sense, right? That makes a lot of sense. Not if you take them up to a high mountain and show them all the kingdoms of the world. That means all the heathen kingdoms, everything that's going down, right? So Hamashiach was able to see across the land and to see it. Of course, he was probably, using his super sight. You know what I'm saying? Just because he's up on the tall mountain, being able to see through fog and all kind of stuff. Just Satan, and a Hamashiach, doing their thing. You know what I mean? Boom. If it was a round ball, if it was some kind of globe, it'll be impossible for Hamashiach to see under it right there. You know what I'm saying? It would serve no purpose for Satan to take him up on a high mountain. So he could just stay right there, and then he could just look all around. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. It's interesting. Like I said earlier, I should jump. I was when I was with the 82nd Airborne, I had like almost 50 jumps during the 3 years I was there, and each time it was just so amazing because when you jump from those planes from about 5,000 feet, it's like you can see like the dome shape and everything. It's like there's no way, man, that this Earth is round and spinning on a ball. Crazy. And then even the horizon, it's like you can see the horizon is flat. If the Earth was a ball, like they said, then you would see a major curve even in the horizon. It's because like the dome tends to reflect the horizon. The horizon is going to always look flat when you're really high in the sky, if you notice.
All right, this is a pretty famous scripture, right? This is a pretty famous scripture right here. I read that. Okay, Con. Okay, you out again? Where you going, huh? You walk for me? 40:22. Oh, what am I doing? Slocky, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Slocky, Israel. All right, we're gonna go right here. 40:22. This is a pretty famous scripture, right? It says, "He that sitteth upon the circle of the earth," right? The circle of the earth, and the inhabitants thereof are as grasshoppers, and that stretcheth out the heavens as a curtain, and spreadeth them out as a tent to dwell in. Right? It says, "He that sitteth upon the circle of the earth, and the inhabitants thereof are as grasshoppers, that spreadeth out the heavens as a curtain, that spreadeth them out in a tent to dwell in." Right? So what is that telling you right there? And the earth is so small that the Lord can sit on it to him. Just he that sitteth upon the circle of the earth, and to the Most High, man, we look like grasshoppers to him. Right? Which would be kind of believable. Which will exactly be believable. I don't know if you guys ever watched this show called what was it, Love and Robots, some old crazy stuff like that, right? I think it's called Love and Robots, if I'm not mistaken, right? But Love and Robots, it had this situation where they had grew this civilization that was in the freezer. It's kind of crazy, but it was because of the sheer different size of the humans that are on the outside compared to the little people in there, that they're, you know what I'm saying, that the way that the time moved was similar to the way the scriptures say that the time moves for the Most High compared to us. 1,000 years equals 1 day, right? It was just, you know what I'm saying, it was just crazy. But you would look at it like, you know, now even when we look at the ants and the flies, you know, their lifespans are minuscule compared to the lifespans of us, probably because of the different sizes and the way that we look at the, you know, our existence are on a different level of time scale, right? They live full lives in a month, right? While we take, you know, all of those, you know, 85 years, you know what I'm saying? 85 years average human death, you know what I'm saying? It takes 85 years for us, right? So let me, now remember, I just brought out that, hold on, wait, it's locked here. What was this? Right, 22, right? It says that it spread them out as a tent to dwell in, right? It says it stretched out the heavens as a curtain and spread them out as a tent to dwell in. You know, just like we saw in the beginning in Genesis, the firmament, right? The firmament is the vault of heaven, right? It's the dome, it's the where our brother Daniel read in Job that it was the molten glass, right? So we're gonna get another precept to let me see, I think it's Psalm 19, that's what it is. Psalm 19:4. Got some notes in this, got so many scriptures. All right. You want to say anything before I take off on this?
No, go ahead, man. Bring it up.
Okay, right. So it says, their line is gone out through all the earth, and their words to the end of the world. In them hath he set a tabernacle for the sun. Now, what do we just read about the tent, right? The tent and the Most High, he stretched out, you know what I'm saying? He stretched out the molten, he stretched out the molten glass, right? The firmament. And it's a tent, right? He said he's a tabernacle for the sun, right? Which is a bridegroom coming out of his chamber and rejoices as a strong man to run a race, right? So the sun, it comes out of, you know, it comes out of his chamber, right? And we know how many gates does it have up? What, 8 gates or 6?
12 gates.
Oh, so like 12 gates for the sun, right? 12 gates for the sun, right? We know it comes out. God. It says his going forth is from the end of the heaven, and his circuit unto the ends of it, and there is nothing hid from the heat thereof. Right. So let's say, for example, right, it says that the circuit. Now a circuit is a circle, right? Right. So let's say if we have the earth right here, right, and then we're moving around the circle of the earth. Now we know, I think it's Antarctica is in the summertime. Antarctica gets light in the summertime. I think it is. Okay, right. So in the summertime, right, Antarctica, it gets light, which means that the rotation of the sun, right, it takes I think when they used to have the what is it, the hour that we move forward and the hour it moves back, right? The reason why they can't never think about it like that, right? You would never need that, right? You would never need an hour move back and an hour move forward, because these heathens cannot tell you the exact time that the sun is moving, in a circuit throughout the year, right? You know, so they always have to change it. Well, you know, let's go ahead and minus an hour here, or let's make it greater an hour here. The reason being is because during the summertime, during the season changes, at first the sun starts up. You know, let's say during the winter time, the sun is at its highest point and it makes its tightest circle, right? During this tightest circle at its highest point on the outside areas, right? During that 6 months time, right? That's when we get darkness in Antarctica. We get the 6 months of darkness, right? As we get closer, right, you know what I'm saying, we get, you know what I'm saying, the rotation, it gets bigger, right? It gets the rotation of the sun, the circuit that it goes, it gets bigger, right? So we can get the outside, right, it gets light, but the inside, you know, which would be Alaska, you know, that's more along like the center lines of the earth, right? Those would get no light at all because the circuit is bigger and it takes an hour longer for it to complete that circle. Now you're never going to have the exact amount of time that it takes for the earth, you know what I'm saying, for the sun to make a circuit, because as it's continually going up, creating the seasons, and going down, creating the seasons, right? The circuit is never the same size, because as it goes up, it tightens, and it goes down and widens. You see what I'm saying? Which is intrinsically changing the time that it takes for it to make a complete rotation. Which is why these heathens can never tell you the exact time. Like, you know, we don't never have the exact time. Next thing you know, it's getting darker. Soon you're like, man, what the hell's going on? I thought we were on track, but it's never going to be on track like that because it changes time.
want to show you something right quick. Let me pull this out here right quick. So, in reference to what brother was talking about earlier. So this is Enoch chapter 75, and let's start with verse 10. Because this right here is going to bust all these scientists in the head, just with these scriptures. It says, "Thus Uriel showed me 12 gates open for the circuit of the chariots of the sun in heaven, from which the rays of the sun shoot forth. From these proceed heat over the earth, and they are open in their stated seasons. They are for the winds and for the ruach and the dew, and in their seasons they are open and open in the extremities. 12 gates I beheld in heaven at the extremities of the earth, through which the sun, moon, and stars, all their works of heaven proceed at their rising and settings. Many windows also are open to the right and to the left." So 12 gates definitely. So right there, that's why, like, okay, for example, when you see, like, during seasons, we know that the month brings in the seasons. So let's say we start the spring equinox, all right? So the sun is going to be in a certain position as it sets in its respective gate. It's the same gate for the sun, moon, and the stars, like the scripture says. So 3 months from now, the sun is going to move. It's going to seem like the sun is going to move over a little bit because it's falling into that third gate in that season. So, and it keeps doing that, and then it rotates back over. So that's why, like, when you see the sunset in March, it's going to be slightly different from the sun, from when it sets in its gate in September. And it's pretty amazing. So that also destroys the fact that how if the Earth is rotating around the sun in 365 days, there is no way that you would be able to get that. See, and this is the folly and the foolishness of the heathens and how they try to explain things which don't make sense at all.
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
What's the Lord say?
So the Most High has these gates. It's almost like to think of them. I'm almost like to think of them as portals. As the sun hits the one side of the gate and it comes out the other side. And it's amazing. It's amazing. And with 12 being one of the sacred numbers of besides 7 and everything, and then 12 tribes. The Most High has it perfectly designed, his luminaries, the way it was supposed to go.
Let me read this real quick, right? Jeremiah 6:16. It says, "Thus saith the Lord, stand ye in the ways and see, and ask for the old paths, where is the good way, and walk therein, and ye shall find rest for your souls." Right? But they said, "We will not walk therein." Right? That's our people today, right? The Most High tells us, "Hey, man, search for the old paths, do the old ways," right? Which were our people keeping the commandments, right? We knew that their earth was flat, and we appreciated the workmanship of the workmen, right? Which was the Most High, right? Which is Hamashiach, the workmanship of the workmen. We have to appreciate that, and because we don't, hey, man, you're gonna on so many different levels, right? Because we don't, it's going to be a problem in the end, right? A lot of us are going to get destroyed.
I'm gonna tell you something. There's nothing like studying the luminaries, man. We had our Feast of Tabernacles out there, man, before I got my property. Well, there's one camp not too far. Matter of fact, it's right around the corner from where my property is. And I'm telling you, man, there's nothing like really studying the luminaries at night. And I remember, like, every new moon when I go out to the property, man, you can literally see the slither. There's no, like, pollutants in that atmosphere. Central Coast Cali is like the best kept secret because a lot of folks don't know about the area. It's still dry enough where the atmosphere, you can really see the stars, you can see the luminaries crystal clear. And when you really start studying the ways of the luminaries, you begin to understand. I'm telling you, it's like it opens up a whole new book, and everything is laws and everything. You can see how the weekly Shabbat is always falls on the same day each week, just by studying the luminaries. Just by studying the luminaries, you can see how the feast days come about. This is why when me and Brother Eitan came with the calendar, everything was designed off the equinox, just like the Bible said it was. Now, the Bible doesn't say equinox itself, but we know what the equinox is. It's when there's an equal amount of day and equal amount of night. And you can go study our calendar lessons because we break that down and everything. But that's just so important, y'all. Like for people who are, you really want to get a deeper meaning of the Most High's character, which we would never even scratch the surface. But the place to start is the luminaries and the scriptures, of course, and you begin to see the beauty of it and everything. So,
I just wanted to. Yeah, the pale heathen, Brother Lamar. We got brown heathens. We got the pale heathens are the worst though. All right, so I got a little something here for you, right? So this is your average Joe Blow out there, right? You know what I'm saying? And I encourage you to stop looking at pictures online for stars and doing all that stuff. If you really want to see what they look like, they do have a couple of videos that I've seen of like real stars. If you look at it, it just looks like a reflection off of water. Real like say if you look real closely at the so-called planets, man, they don't really look like a damn thing. Just reflections out of the water. It just looks weird, right? It doesn't look like anything these heathens will show you when you look for yourself. Yeah. I'm going to show you this right quick, right? We're going to see the clouds behind the sun, right? The clouds are behind the sun, which means that if the sun is supposed to be, 99 million miles away from the sun, whatever it is, 93 million miles away from the sun. Yeah, that's the lie of the heathens right there. That's amazing. Man, you see how that lie is drilled into me from a kid going to the heathen schools. You believe some madness that 93 million miles away from the sun that the earth is, right? Now, how about, now how are the clouds 93 million miles out too? They have to be if the clouds are behind the sun, or is the sun a lot closer than what it's supposed to be, right? Or is the sun just like the scriptures say? Let's watch this real quick. All right. See how it's getting close? Let's just watch. Boom, there go the sun right there, right? We got some. Now we can see clearly. Now we got some clouds behind that sun as it's creeping up through the clouds, right? You see the sun creeping through the clouds? I don't know. I think this heathen got the jitters. It's a little drunk. Come on, buddy. This thing straight. Straighten it out there, boy. Straighten it out there, boy. Boom, there we go. Now see, that's a good one right there. Look at that. You can tell it's just sliding in between the clouds, and there's no way, and we got clouds in the back of the sun, man. This is clear. This is clear as day. There's no way you can get around that right there. No way, period. Right? But the sun is 93 million miles away, though. At least that's what they tell you. All right? It's impossible. Look at that. It's showing you just, it's going through the clouds. That's impossible, right? That right there is literally impossible if the Earth is 93 million miles away from the sun.
I'm gonna show you something that's stupid. I'm gonna show you something, man. This is gonna blow your mind right quick. How stupid these heathens are. Watch this, y'all. Look at this. What does it say? This is the heathens. It says how larger is the sun than the moon. Look, this is can you see that out?
Yeah, come on, 400 times larger. That's man. That's just
okay. So this is what the heathens are saying. The diameter of the sun is about 400 times larger than the moon's. Now, what did we just read in the scriptures? And what do you see when you see an eclipse? You can see, in a sense, that they are the same size. But here, these heathens are saying that the diameter of the sun is about 400 times larger than the moon's. But it's also roughly 400 times further away from the earth. These two, see, that number always changes. These two qualities almost cancel each other out, and the sun actually winds up looking either the same size or just a wee bigger than the moon to us. You see this foolishness.
And then not only that, right? You don't have a source right. You don't have a reference to measure that. You have no source to measure the size of the sun. You have no source to measure the size of the moon. Man, I mean, like literally, right? If you don't have your tape measure, right? you're not going to be able to, you know what I'm saying? Like you could look at something from here and it may look certain. You know what I'm saying? You don't have a unit of measure to measure 93 million miles away to make sure you come up with a correct. That is what device do you have that can even shoot that far? You know what I'm saying? I mean like if these clowns can't dig deeper than 7 freaking things into the ground, and you trying to tell me they reaching 93 million miles away from us? Come on, man, that's a damn lie, man. These heathens are ridiculous. It's like, go ahead.
Let me show you. Here's another one. It's different. This one's different now. All kinds of stuff. I'm just showing everybody like different ones how you're gonna see different answers and stuff. They don't have a clue.
Man, this stuff is these folks just be making up stuff, man.
Watch this right here. Oh my goodness, man. When the scripture says,
you see,
I think this one was said, and I hate these advertising things. Just know what the hell with it.
Well, just like we can't get to the bottom of the ocean. We can't get to the bottom of the ocean.
You're going to see different answers. I think this one was going to say 100 times. It was going to say like 1,000 times bigger. So one said 400 times bigger. In this other article, it says 1,000 times bigger than the moon. You see how they always come up with different. These heathens, they need to go.
God. All right. It says, I got something for you. All right. Now, oops.
And you can see when you see eclipse, you can see the moon passing the sun, and you can actually see that it's the same diameter. I mean, come on, common sense. But yet, they think that they got billions of people swallowing this lie.
All right.
And we're showing you evidence. I mean, like physical evidence. Everything that they told us about the Earth and being round and the size of the moon and the sun is all a lie.
This is 35,853 feet. This is the deepest that we've ever been in the ocean. This is here on Earth. All right. So if that's the deepest that they've been on the ocean. Now keep that in mind now. All right. Keep that in mind. Okay. Everyone knows. Okay. Deepest humans gone in ocean miles. Let's see what that says. 5 miles about. Okay. So it's not okay. But as we see, right, 35,853 feet. I'm about to show something else too. Okay. So that's the deepest we've been in the ocean, right? And just like Brother Daniel said earlier, I'm about to paste this real quick, and voila! It says, right, what's the deepest we've ever dug into the Earth? The deepest hole by far is one on the Kola Peninsula in Russia near Murmansk, referred to as the Kola Well. It was drilled for research purposes beginning in 1970. After 5 years, the Kola reached 7 kilometers, right, around 2,300 feet, right? That's not 7.5 miles. Okay, that's absolutely. And you trying to tell me that they have been to the moon? Let's see how far. I mean, come on, man. Are you telling me that they can tell you that's on the core of the Earth? Like, how do these folks know the core of the Earth's temperature? And 7.5 miles is the deepest that you can dig. What? You know what I'm saying?
And then they tell you
lying.
And then they tell you there's a bunch of molten lava in the middle of the Earth, the core.
God. Looks like it, right? Right there, right? How far is the moon from Earth? Right? Okay. 238,000 miles. You see that? 238,000 miles. That's almost 239,000. That's how much they tell you that the doggone, said that, and they can barely dig 7 miles into the Earth. And they trying to tell you that they done been this far to the moon. Come on, man.
And if you look at another source, it'll be something different. They don't know. They don't know. They got everybody food like they know. They have no idea.
You got to be a damn dummy if you believe these heathens. If they can't drill nothing but 7 miles they can't reach to the bottom of the ocean, how in the hell are they traveling 238,000 miles? Or they tell you that the damn sun is 93 million miles away. Come on, man. When is the truth going to happen? When are we going to start as a people? I mean, like as a people, we got to start condemning these fools. 238,000 miles, but yet they tell you, Slocky, where's this at? 7 miles, yo. They only can dig 7 miles into the earth, right? They can only go 35,000 feet in the water, but they're going to tell you that they know the center of the earth and the temperature of it, and they're going to tell you that they know all these stars and other planets, and we got the new Hubble telescope that's up there that they can see all this. Come on, man. Hey, they asked the dude, Buzz Aldrin, right? The dude that flew the Apollo mission. They asked that dude, what did it feel like when you went to the Van Allen radiation belt? Now, the Van Allen radiation belt, that's the temperature is hotter than any damn thing that's made out of the space shuttles. You know what I'm saying? This is what they say. So, number one, Buzz Aldrin says that he didn't feel a damn thing when he bent through the Van Allen radiation belt. And that pale heathen was up there sweating his ass off because he was lying, right? I mean, like you can go back to the interview and you can literally see he's profusely sweating under the armpits when they was asking him these questions, because that man up there just telling the greatest lies of his life. He just telling the greatest lies of his life up there, right? Not only that, right? But he said Buzz Aldrin said that he didn't feel nothing, that he didn't feel a damn thing when he went through the Van Allen radiation belt. This dude, that's because you didn't go there. That's why. No, if you look at hold up, let me see what's the I think the temperature of the exosphere. Hold on, let me see what's the temperature of the exosphere. Slock, let me see.
Oh, this foolishness, crazy.
All right.
But this is what they got millions of. This is what they got billions of people believing.
You see this right here, right? Keep this locked in your brain, right? You know what I'm saying? The exosphere is. Oh, hold on. Wait, is that the one I needed to go through? Okay. Anyway, that's pretty good right there. That's pretty damn hot. 987 degrees, right? So let's see what the spaceship is rated out of. Okay. Hold up. Let's see. What material are the spaceships made of? Space shuttles made of? I like that. That's better, right? Okay. Porous silicon, right? Materials highly heat resistant, right? Remember, it was 900 and something, right? Let me see. What is the melting point? Right? What is the melting point? Melting slide there. Oh, and we're gonna paste this. Whatever. Okay, let's go. Oh, that's pretty hot, right? 14,900 something centigrade melting point. Blown. Let's go. 14 degrees Celsius. Let me see this real quick. So 95 degrees Celsius. Devices. Hold on, Slovakia. That is not the right one.
While he's pulling it up, we're showing you this stuff to show you how foolishness this stuff is, and how the heathen's calculations does not even come close to adding up to the scriptures. When I showed you the whole diameter of the moon in Enoch, says in his word that it is the same diameter. It's just one is 7 times brighter. And when you see the eclipse, it passes right by each other, and it's like the same. You can see that it's the same size. But then I showed you the article, and they're talking about 400 times larger than the sun is 400 times larger than. That's a bunch of BS.
There we go. There we go. I was Celsius. Hold up, Celsius. Oh, well, I guess that's good. I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? Slocky, Israel. I was looking for the thermosphere. You know what I'm saying? The thermosphere is where they say the Van Allen radiation belt is, right? 4,500 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay. So that means these back in the day, they had to travel through this 4,500 degrees Fahrenheit. Now let me see. What was the oops, let me see. Oh, so I'm gonna have to dang it. What was that? What was the so let me see what it was. What was that material? Okay, 4,500 degrees Fahrenheit, right? And what was the question? I said, what material was the space shuttle made of? What material? 4,500. What material?
Silicon, some kind of silicon, crude silicon.
Yeah, poor silicon material, right? Copy this, right? Okay. Where's the melting point? Poor silicon. There we go. Okay. Let me see. That's the Celsius. Let me see. And Fahrenheit. Well, you know, silicon porous, right? Now we see that just a regular silicon, that's half that. That's right. Remember, it was 4,500, right? The thermosphere. This is 25. This is 2,570. The melting point for silicon. Now let's see. Let me see if I can't get the exact because I don't want to look like I'm trying to. Let's see what the melting point is. Let's see, 14. Anybody know what? Anybody got a conversion table to tell me what 14? Let me see what this is in Fahrenheit. Okay, copy. What is? Paste it. All right, and Fahrenheit. Let's see what this measures up to. Oh, yeah, look at that, right? 25, right? 2,500. You know what I'm saying? 2,577 in Fahrenheit. When we see that, what? The thermosphere is 4,500. 4,500. How the hell are they making it through there? How the hell are they making it through there?
If they claim to come through the atmosphere.
Right? They ain't never made it to no damn moon. Man, you don't even have enough materials to even make it through the thermosphere. So how in the hell you getting to the moon? These damn heathens, they just keep lying. Right, you can go through any of this stuff, right, and then you can do the math. It's just simple. Like once you break this stuff down to, it's like, you know, hey man, let me just see what the spaceships are made out of. You know what I'm saying? See if it can withstand, what they say that these particular numbers are. Never.
Yep.
You know, the Earth is an enclosed system, like Bill Nye the Science Guy tell you. You know, that pale heathen got online and he told you that this is an enclosed system. You cannot get out. You cannot get out. No matter if you did, you go to the underworld, which is underneath the earth. There is no escape. This is where you're going to be at forever. It's this earth right here. Even heaven is going to be on this particular earth that the Most High has made for us. Right? There is no escape. This is all that there is for us. This is all that will ever be. The gigantic playground that the Most High has made for us. Right? You're going to get a chance to enjoy it, right? If you keep the commandments, or you are going to suffer if you don't. It's either or, Israel. The Most High, he is not far away at all. He is right up there, shining bright with his eyes of 10,000. He's looking right at us, right? The Most High is looking right at us. The eyes are shining, and he's watching. Come on.
You pull that verse right quick.
What happened now?
I'll pull that verse right quick.
Right.
See that one. That is a powerful verse. It's Ecclesiastes 23.
I mean, that, you know. That's on the whole video. Yes, it's right. This is right. I'm supposed to be off. Slocky. I didn't even mean for that to be on the whole time. All right. If y'all have any questions, feel free to ask down below. Me and Brother Daniel, we love answering your guys' questions. If you have any questions, we will be more than willing to answer them. As a matter of fact, let me post a link down here. If somebody wants to come on, if y'all want to, if y'all believe what the heathens say, sure, man, come on. We'll be happy to
while he's I want to read this verse to y'all. Y'all should know this verse by now because we quote it a lot. Ecclesiastes 23 and verse 19. Such a man only fears the eyes of men and knows not the eyes of YAHAWAH are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, beholding all the ways of men and considering the most secret parts. He knew all things ever they were created. So also after they were perfected, he looked upon them all. These damn heathens lying on the Most High, lying on His creation and everything, and they're gonna pay heavily for it.
God,
They're gonna be destroyed.
God, they will be destroyed.
Yeah. Let's see if anybody has any.
Hold up. What the world?
But again, we're gonna be doing these kind of lessons from time to time, you know. So if you have something that you really want to talk about, that's like this lesson that we've done, you know, just put it in the chat box, or come back on the page after the video repost and just let us know and everything. And we need you guys to engage more as well too. So like when the video repost on the channel, make sure you smash that like button and just interact with one another. You know, Shabbat Shalom or whatever. You know.
That's right. And when we're talking about making comments, we're not talking about on the we're talking about like on the comment board. You know, once the video posts, because we notice that a lot. You know, and we really do appreciate it. But we're saying like, you know, make comments on the video once it posts. You know, you put a one.
When it posts, because it's important, because we're really trying to grow this channel so we can get this message out. Right? So.
Now, I wanted to show you a little something real quick before we go. Now, this would be considered a terranium, right? The Most High has created a terranium for us. And these are, you know, this is an example of how the Most High system could easily work, right? They plant things in here, right? Put some water in here and all that stuff, and they seal it up. And guess what? They never have to open it again. It has its own ecosystem. It creates its own ecosystem. It waters it. That none of the moisture leaks out. It's the exact same thing. You know, like matter of fact, this will be the exact same thing. This is the exact same thing as the earth right now. It works by itself. All the seeds move and it continues to grow and to do its own thing. You know, like these are terraniums, right? These are real things that are airtight and they're sealed, right? They're airtight and they're sealed, and they grow. You know, and they grow whole things, right? And they grow. Now, imagine it's the same thing about the flood. Now, this is a self-contained system, right? You know, these are self-contained systems, and they don't need anything, right? No matter what, it has all the water that it needs in there to ever. It'll never evaporate or anything like that. If it does, you know, it'll condensate right back down into the soil, and it'll continue to grow. It'll die, condensate, more seeds, more growth, and so forth and so on. None of the plants will ever die in here. It's the enclosed system that'll work perfectly forever, right? Now, like I was saying before, now if you wanted to flood an area like that, what do you have to do? You'll have to add more water. That's why the Most High said that the windows of heaven were opened up, which means that there are waters on top of us, right? You know what I mean? Like, we really don't realize the precarious position that we're really in right now. If the Most High, if he just so pleased, he could just put a crack in the dome and kill everyone. Just a crack in the ceiling. He opened up one window, you know, he opened up one window in the firmament and flooded the whole earth. We don't want that. You know, we're in a real precarious position. We have to be thankful every day that the Most High, he just, you know, that's all his power, his spirit, right? His spirit is his energy that's keeping the moon floating, keeping the sun floating, keeping the firmament up and not, you know, breaking and coming down, even though these heathens have tried. Listen, right? You know, like Brother Daniel was telling you before, I want y'all to read about this guy named Admiral Byrd, right? He's a heathen, right? General Byrd, right? Admiral Byrd. Now these clowns went over and they tried to bomb the dome, right? They was over there, and I'm serious. I'm not even joking, right? You know, I know you see these. Hold up, man. Let me see if I can find one of these things on Simpsons and Dome. Let me see. Boom. Yeah, there it is right here. Boom, right? This is what? Simpsons. Oh, I'm doing the wrong Simpsons Dome. Okay. Con, right? Now, the Simpsons, they have I want to play this real quick, right? Can y'all see that? All right, con. I'll play this right. Now they have a
It's a long fly ball going back, and the ball shatters the sky, bringing the ocean itself down into the stadium.
It's funny. It's funny how they like portray this stuff. And you're teaching the opposite, but it's funny how they portray this stuff in like the cartoons and movies and stuff because they know it's true.
God, absolutely, right? They know this stuff to be true, right? And that's the reason why they do that stuff. You know what I'm saying? They try to have you playing like you don't know. They got a thing about Hillary Clinton. Talks about how she done. Let me see. Hold up. Let me pull that one up. Let me see. They got one where it's talking about Hillary Clinton, and she's talking about how she done. She done done something. Hold up. Let me see. Hillary Clinton. How you spell that? Hillary. Okay. Spot here. Clinton, and Glass Hillary speech. Yeah, here it is. Oh. All right, here it is right here. Oops, let me put this thing on pause. Ooh, good Lord, these heathens are just putrid looking. All right, here we go. Sorry.
And to the young people,
can y'all hear that? I'm sorry.
I hope you will hear this. I have, as Tim said, spent my entire adult life fighting for what I believe in. I've had successes and I've had setbacks, sometimes really painful ones. Many of you are at the beginning of your professional, public, and political careers. You will have successes and setbacks too. This loss hurts, but please never stop believing that fighting for what's right is worth it. We need you to keep up these fights now and for the rest of your lives. And to all the women, and especially the young women, who put their faith in this campaign and in me, I want you to know that nothing has made me prouder than to be your champion. I know.
Hurry up. I don't want to hear all
We
this
have
woman. Hurry
still
up.
not shattered that highest and hardest glass ceiling, but someday someone will, and hopefully sooner than we might think right now.
Right? She says that someone will shatter the highest glass ceiling, right? That's these heathen. These heathen want to get away from here. You understand? These heathen they believe that they can leave, right? All the shows that we see, the Marvel, the X-Men, the stuff about aliens coming from area, the stuff just about leaving the earth and trying to escape. These heathens, they're trying their damnedest. That's when they were over there. If you read about the exploits of General Byrd, you'll see that they were over there bombing the doggone trying it for years on end. I think it was what 4 years straight that they were dropping bombs over there, right? And then right after that, right, and that's when they formed the what is it? It's called a treaty. It's the it's Slovakia. I can't remember the name of the treaty, but the treaty that they made up, every single nation respects it, and no one has broken the treaty since it was founded, right? About Antarctica. That's why it's an unclaimed land. Nobody is able to claim that land, right? So it's been about over 2 hours, right? So I don't want to continue to hit y'all upside the head with this truth, but y'all should have enough by now that y'all can go and sit back and study it, right? Study. These heathen, they have a way of always telling on themselves. Okay, so this will be a Shabbat Shalom from myself and Brother Daniel. Oh,
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. And enjoy the rest of your Shabbat.
That's right, Israel. I hope y'all take this lessons and learn a couple of things from it. Learn and keep on studying. Shabbat Shalom.